Hello and welcome to Non Sequitur News for August 7th, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 219. And if you hear the 3D printer in the background, well, now you know. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com. That's the site you see right there. And today we're going to be talking about from robot gender to the perfect noodle. Live service reminds us, well, things die, and we don't like that. Electric air taxis in Japan. Mindseye. Don't remind me. OLED MacBook Pro on the horizon. United Airlines flights get grounded below the horizon. IPtv Piracy service gets taken offline. Disney accelerator news. Microsoft outs GPT-5, 5 Mini, and 5 Nano before the announcement. And the Tekken Board Game. What? All right, everybody, let's get into this. The first article over, well, there we go. There is a new sci-fi novel that covers everything from robot gender to the perfect noodle. I did not load this all up properly, so you get to see how the sausage is made when you go over to ohmTown.com. If you are a citizen of ohmTown and you go over to ohmTown.com and you click on a link that takes you to a discussion board, there is, or well, just it's basically a submission. It says in Newitz's 3 previous novels, 2017's far future dystopian thriller Autonomous, 2019's time travel adventure The Future of Another Timeline, and 2023's sprawling further future saga The Terraformers. These kinds of self-explorations stir up frustration, longing, and revelations, according to this article. Now, I don't even know where it's from. When these submissions come in, I choose based off of the title and this little snippet, maybe even the snippet, I don't know. Sometimes I just grab them because they were submitted and I like the title of it and it comes across as kind of interesting. And so I have not read any of this, but I might have experience with this from one thing or another. They say that they're all written from a rigorous intellectual curiosity that hints at Newitz's many other careers: science journalist, columnist, lecturer, EFF policy, that's the Electronic Frontier Foundation, policy analyst, nonfiction writer. It says their latest is 2024's Stories Are Weapons, Psychological Warfare, and the American Mind, co-host of a Hugo Award-winning show. So you click on the link and it takes you over to the source. The source happens to be Polygon.com. Tasha Robinson put the article together. The deck statement says the new cozy robots start a restaurant novel. Automatic Noodle has it all. I have no idea. This is so much to unpack in this. It says that it talks about it being labeled complicated. Newitz tells approachable stories where characters face external conflicts, but those characters might be humans, robots, autonomous drones, sapient moose, or cats, or mole rats, or even odder things. And the external conflicts tend to feel secondary next to the many murkier, internal conflicts as those characters navigate their own identities and so on. So the weight of some of these ideas and the complications behind them can make for heavy reading. I have not read any of theirs, but it sounds really interesting. Coming from somebody who is very interested in technology, society, science, talks from those 3 perspectives. I've been doing that for many years now, but not all this highbrow kind of level. You know, I'm not an EFF policy analyst. Now I'm just my consciousness has been uploaded to a quantum computer. So I'm considered a sentient AI now, just like the sentient AI from the future, who's not with us right now. But anyway, Our Opinions Are Correct podcast. They are the co-host of that as well, with frequent creative partner Charlie Jane Anders and former editor-in-chief of IO9 and Gizmodo. So I'm going to have to take a look at all of this and dig a little deeper. It's amazing what you find once it's aggregated into a place where you can see the breadth and depth of news across a spectrum. That's why I built ohmTown. Let's move on. The next article is over in the WarCrafters channel. That is a weekend show that will get dropped on Sunday. This one up here is over in WarCrafters as well, but hey, this next article though in WarCrafters is somewhat negative news has been coming out of Sony, says the CFO. about live service focus isn't going smoothly, and it's because we're tired of games being killed. We spend money and time, and then because it's no longer the return on investment isn't as high, a multitude of, instead of just a reasonable proximity of wealth gathering, they kill it instead of releasing the server so that those of us who paid for a freaking game can play it when we want to play it in the embodiment that we paid for it, and not because somebody deemed it we are worthy to play it. It's tiring. It's very cringy. We're sick and tired of having to sit there and have to rebuy a game or rebuy a new version of it because some NBA dipshit decided that the money isn't there, so let's kill the server, instead of giving it to the people who paid for it. We paid for a game to be played in a certain embodiment. It's akin to going to somebody's house and going, well, you use the roof. You don't need it anymore because we're tired of you having the roof. So we're going to take your freaking roof. Well, when you click the link, you'll get taken over to Game Rant, and that's kind of what's going on here. Aaron McKinley put this article together, and I'm ranting. It's rather rage-inducing, I agree. In a Q&A session following Sony's latest quarterly financial results presentation, Tao admitted that somewhat negative news has been coming out. Well, yeah, if you're a sociopath, it's somewhat negative. But if you're a human, it's disgusting news. The prices are going through the roof, and you're taking games away from people that have paid for it. It's asinine. Anyway, more specifically, they referenced the ill-fated Concord and the recent news that Marathon has been delayed indefinitely, which basically means it's dead, amid rising tensions at Bungie and poor playtesting results. Despite those setbacks, Tower reaffirmed the company's commitment to live service games, saying that while it's not entirely going smoothly right now, you all out there as consumers don't have a choice. You're going to have to take it right to the chin. It doesn't matter. We give you something, and y'all gobble it up like Nintendo. And because there isn't that much out there, you're going to keep on gobbling it up. So come on, independent developers. Show the AAA asshats where it's really at. Tao also pointed out the fact that live service games were virtually non-existent for Sony 5 years ago, but now it's generating considerable profits from them. Yeah, because you are essentially sucking from the financial teat of all of the consumers that should be paying for a game once and done and play the game. And everybody, this is how it was done years ago. We had a server that was built into the game, and we could connect to whoever and allow it would broadcast out, and we could run the game however we wanted to. But no, that's not how it is. You know, we could find people. We don't need your server to connect us to equally mannered, blah, blah, or skilled, whatever. We could use social networks and find a way to do that. But we need the server to connect us. So you have us by the, what do you want to call it? You have us by the networking cable, the Ethernet. You have us by the Ethernet cable. Anyway, still Marathon and Concord are not only worrying signs for Sony's live service ambitions. The Edge of Fate proved to be Destiny's worst performing expansion in recent memory, emphasizing a larger trend of dwindling player counts for the game. But look at, what is it, Battlefield 6 or something like that? It has 300,000 people playing it. Let's keep moving. Next article is over in Technology Today. Electric air taxis could debut in Japan in 2027. Air ANA said Thursday that, together with the U.S. startup, it hopes to have an electric air taxi whizzing over Japan from as early as 2027. Again, you click that link, it takes you over to Tech Explorer. I don't have an ad blocker. Andrew Zinnan put the article together. It's over at techexplorer.com. There's no E in Tech Explorer, by the way. It's TECH, the letter X, PLORE.com. I don't like spelling bee domains, but it is what it is. This is a trademarkable name. Anyway, currently a car or train ride between central Tokyo and Narita typically takes an hour or longer, but Joby's 5-seater can shorten this to around 15 minutes. It's supposed to be an Uber in the air. For that price, an Uber, maybe. I don't know. We don't really know what the prices are. In December, a flying taxi startup, WarCrafters, said that it was filing for insolvency days after another German company in the field, Lilium, was saved from collapse. Well, the best rise to the top, so to speak, I guess. That's what they say. Cream of the crop and all that. So we'll have to watch this and see what happens. I just don't trust anything in low altitude over populations not having FAA kind of, you have to have flight times, pilot time, right? You have to have ground control or ground school, and you have to understand the physics of your flying and all that kind of stuff. And I just feel like Ubers in the air are the same thing as cars on the road that are going to start crashing into stuff left and right. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Continuity Report. Mindseye is more than the worst game of the year. Mindseye, the debut from former Grand Theft Auto producer, is the latest disaster piece in an expanded graveyard of failed trend-chasing projects. This article is over at the Washington Post. I won't even be able to go through this. I think that they're going to block me. I think they have a paywall, and I'm not logged in. So, yeah, I love their title. The Washington Post says their masthead says democracy dies in darkness. It's kind of hilarious. Everybody's watching it. So at any rate, released in June, Mindseye is the debut game by Build a Rocket Boy, a studio founded by Leslie Benzies, the former Rockstar executive who helped produce the landmark Grand Theft Auto series and who was unceremoniously ousted from the company. Embarrassing exit notwithstanding, it's no surprise that someone with Benzies' curriculum vitae was able to secure funding from investors in good faith from IO Interactive for the Danish video game firm's first published game, but it basically came out as kind of hot mess. There's a link to it. A 54-second YouTube video on Mindseye channel titled Quality Assurance with Leslie Benzies. Whoops. Anyway, I've seen a bunch of this stuff, and it's just kind of goofy. It does not rise to the level of indie developer with probably a fraction of the budget. And we don't know what this budget really is here. I don't think so. I don't know of anybody who has talked about the budget of this. They say, besides the well-designed city, they can praise the game's driving controls, while the physics of the cars are floaty, handling turns and weaving through the traffic at high speeds. Both work well. There doesn't seem to be much of a story from what I witnessed. The driving is the one thing that people have been talking about, but every other aspect of it kind of sucked. So they say here, from its developers to its investors and publisher down to the poor gamers suckered into buying it, Mindseye is a grand theft of everyone's time and money. Holy cow, what a review. Let's move on. The next article is over in Smack Talk, which is a show all about Apple from the perspective of its competitors, I suppose, because it's all about Smack Talk. The one thing that separates Apple from all the other competitors in the space is Apple doesn't talk about the competitors, but everybody compares themselves to Apple. Apple doesn't say we're better than this name brand, but everybody goes, we're better than Apple. That's the one thing that really makes them stand out. And they're a vertical. They are the ones that manufacture, well, they buy the parts, or they have manufacturing partners that build to their spec, and they put it all together, but it's all them. They don't have external operating system or anything else. They open up their platform for consumer or developers to sell to the consumers. I mean, it's just an amazing piece of corporate architecture. Wish they weren't doing what they're doing now, but the most recent previous rumors concerning the use of an OLED in the MacBook Pro said that it'll come in 2026. That's what the title of this article is over at Smack Talk. It's actually sourced, though, from AppleInsider.com. William Gallagher put the article together. It says a new supply chain report from Korea backs up previous claims that Apple will ship a MacBook Pro in 2026 with an OLED screen made by Samsung Display. Samsung and I have an interesting relationship because many years ago I was put on a contact list and had somebody show up at my front door. Quite interesting. Yeah. Well, anyway, Samsung Display is also reported to have significantly improved its use of oxide TFT panels. The company now expects to produce 15,000 glass substrates per month, meaning up to 10 million MacBook Pro displays annually. Apple is said to require the company to use oxide thin film transistor technology alongside low temperature polycrystalline silicon, or LTPS, OLED. The current iPhone 16 uses LTPS, and it's previously been reported that applying oxide TFT could reduce power consumption. So that's said to be around twice the number, by the way, that 10 million MacBook Pro displays annual, twice the number that Apple expects to need for the MacBook Pro. And that the MacBook Air might also get an OLED. But that won't happen until 2029. Somebody is maybe drinking the tea leaves. Let's move on. The next article is over in Technology Today. That's another show that is on Sundays. Let me see. That one, we haven't launched the show yet. The continuity report is on Saturday. Technology Today is on Sunday. All right. So this next article is over in Technology Today. United Airlines flights grounded in the U.S. Thousands of U.S. air passengers were facing delays Wednesday after United Airlines halted many departures in the wake of a system-wide problem. When you click that link, it'll take you over to the source. Again, I don't have an ad blocker on my browser. And use in put the article together. It's over at techexplore.com. So, so-called mainline flights, those moving between major hubs, were grounded for over an hour because engineers weren't able to bring up the system. It was basically a system-wide problem. We're working with customers to get them into their destinations after a technology disruption on Wednesday evening. The underlying technology issue has been resolved, and while we expect residual delays, our team is working to restore normal operations. So what was the actual problem? The outage was the latest problem to affect America's aviation sector. I think that they were probably breached. I don't know. That came after air traffic control system went down in Newark area airport on more than one occasion this year, shaking passengers' faith in the system. In January, a mid-air collision near Washington's Reagan National Airport involving a passenger jet and a military helicopter claimed dozens of lives. Yep. Everything's running smoothly, folks. Don't ask questions. The next article, we'll just keep moving through this list. The next article is over in Technology Today as well. Massive IPtv piracy service with 28,000 channels taken offline. The Alliance for Creativity and Entertainment, or ACE, announced the shutdown of Rare Breed TV, a major illegal IPtv service provider, after reaching a financial settlement with its operators. When you click that link, it'll take you over to bleepingcomputer.com. Sergio Gatlin put the article together. Pardon me one second. My throat is scratchy. North Carolina-based Rare Breed TV was one of the world's largest digital piracy operations, claiming to be offering subscribers access to over 28,000 channels and more than 100,000 movies and series. As part of the agreement, the operators will permanently shut down their illegal service and pay a significant financial settlement. I guess they weren't big enough to just benefit from the highway robbery. And they went after somebody that has copious amounts of money and political might. So with support from its member studios, ACE identified the individuals behind Rare Breed and contacted them in North Carolina. And if you're in the United States, you might as well just pack it in, folks. It's only going to get worse. In terms of you thinking that you're going to get away with something, believe me, you're not going to get away with it, and you're not rich enough. So, however, while ACE says the pirate service operators agreed to shut down their illegal IPtv platform, the Rare Breed TV website was still online when this story was published, offering subscriptions ranging from $16 to $80 a month $16 a month to $80 for a full year. So an ACE spokesperson was not able to comment. So there's more over at these articles that we talk about. Last year, Ace also helped sentence 5 men linked to Jetflix illegal streaming service, shutter a pirate TV streaming network that made millions of dollars since its launch in 2015, dismantled pirate streaming service with over 22 million users, making over 250 million euro each month. Wow. And take down Marky Streams, one of the largest live sports streaming piracy rings with over 821 million yearly visits. It isn't that people don't want to consume, it's that they don't want to be ripped off. The next article is over in Constructagon. Hattie joins 2025 Disney Accelerator to drive large format 3D printing in entertainment. So they're looking to, I guess, get into large format 3D printing. So I'm looking at an Elegoo Orange Storm right now. Dun, dun, dun. The Giga. Anyway, joining Hattie in 2025 cohort are Animage, a company doing something in the 3D printing space. So what is it? So this article comes from 3dprintingindustry.com. The article is written by Paloma Duran. Joining Hattie in the 2025 cohort are Animage, a company utilizing AI-enabled production pipeline to create and distribute animations across digital platforms for children. DramaBox, a platform and production company focused on vertical microdramas optimized for mobile devices, and Liminal Space, a developer of holographic 3D LED display technology for immersive entertainment applications. So Hattie joins that group, but Hattie's a startup specializing in large format printing. They've been selected alongside with 3 other companies to join the 2025 Disney Accelerator, because Disney basically makes large format characters, and so rapid production of them using 3D printing would do a great service instead of trying to patch stuff together on a smaller platform. So stack 2 Orange Storm Gigas on top of each other with a really long Z axis, and you can basically print a person 6 feet plus tall. So from thousands vetted, the Disney Accelerator is thrilled to welcome these 4 companies. Dun, dun, dun. There's a whole lot more. I don't know what they're doing with this. It's a robot that looks like it has a drill bit. So, but that's not 3D printing there, bub. So cool. A Disney Accelerator program will kick off. Basically, if they show promise, then industry will pay attention to them more. And we've got 2 more articles. The next one is over in Technology Today as well. Microsoft accidentally confirms GPT-5, 5 Mini, and 5 Nano ahead of the launch. But OpenAI basically announced it today. And when you click the source, you'll get taken over to Bleeping Computer again, and Mayank Parma put the article together. And this is supposed to be like the best of the best now. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into it a little bit more and do some due diligence. But we're getting really close to AGI, so artificial general intelligence, not just AI. So when it can act like a human and you can't tell the difference, you've got AGI. But I don't think that we can ever truly get there. So finally, there's a new GPT-5 chat, which is designed for advanced, natural, multimodal, and context-aware conversations for enterprise applications. As spotted on Internet Archive, GitHub blog says GPT-5 is OpenAI's most advanced model, offering major improvements in reasoning, code quality, and user experience. They added that Microsoft added that GPT-5 handles complex coding tasks with minimal prompting and provides clear explanations. What's really cool about... Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. So this is supposed to be the best that there is out there at the moment. GPT-5 introduces enhanced agentic capabilities, making it a powerful coding collaborator and intelligent assistant for all users. I now treat the AIs that I interact with as partners and not just something that I'm supposed to command in a certain way, but I actually have to kind of tutor it, train it, mentor it into the shape that I want it, except that it's on somebody else's server, and that creeps me the hell out. So I only want to do local stuff with local AIs. And if a new one comes to market, then I will do whatever I can to get like a local version of it. If the developer of the AI makes it possible. So I don't want to do anything where it's out in the cloud, because I don't want AI to have my communications, because it's well, it's just private. They've already outed people in their conversations because of an issue using AIs, and I just don't like that. I don't want that. So OpenAI's plan is to ship GPT-5 for free, but if you pay $20 for the Plus plan, you'll get GPT-5 with advanced reasoning, and those with the $200 Pro plan will get Pro reasoning. This is according to documents seen by Bleeping Computer. So I guess it's kind of a derpy AI, and then ever so more intelligent with more money. So if that isn't indicative of how the future will hold true, those with the money will get a better AI, even though it's built off of the processes of every other human on the planet. And you don't want a sentient AI built from here, this timeline, this universe. It's built off of all of the neuroses of humanity, and it's up to some private company to whittle out the good and the bad. Yeah, that all depends on their ideological bent, so we're generally screwed. The next article and our last one for today is over at WarCrafters. The Tekken Board Game reached its crowdfunding goal in 35 minutes. And also, by the way, there's a Tekken Board Game for some reason. This is the second day that I've talked about games that have gone from computer to tabletop gaming, which is kind of weird. And apparently there's a bunch of them. So there's a board game for everything now. Last time this author looked, not me, the author at the link when you click on visit the source, they said the last time that they looked in their local store, they had board games based on Oregon Trail, the Iliad, World War II espionage in the Mediterranean theater. Specifically, they shouldn't be surprised that there's going to be a board game based on one of the fighting games where you are a Jaguar Man. And that it comes with flash-looking miniatures. Flash-looking? Miniatures, including one of said Jaguar Man with extremely well-defined abs. That is extremely aware of whatever that is. So Jody McGregor over at PCGamer.com put the article together. Yeah, so there's a board game. Tekken the Board Game is an asymmetric fighting game where 1 to 8 players of ages 13 and up can fight in various stages and choose between a single match and an epic tournament. Its crowdfunding campaign was posted on GameFound with a goal of €50,000, roughly 58,000 US dollars, that it managed to reach in 35 minutes and 45 seconds, and it's now blown well past that, raising more than €350,000, or closer to $410,000, or 700% of its original post so far. And this was published roughly 24 hours ago. So we talk about the news nowadays roughly in the last 24 hours for each episode of the show. Like most of the board games that are becoming crowdfunding hits, the author says that they assume people want more for the expensive components that the game will come with, that they'll be able to play twice. The core box for Tekken the Board Game comes with 8 overscale miniatures representing Jin, Kazuya, King, Paul, Jack 8, Nina, Asuka, and Yoshimitsu. Says it's not classic Paul with the perfectly conical hair, however, so you can count that author out. Dun dun dun. And we are going to develop the ohmTown board game. That's not true, but I will bring us back to the front page of ohmTown, which is the welcome street. The welcome sign is ohmTown in and of itself. Go over there and sign up, sign in, become a citizen, and come and hang out for the live streams on Twitch and YouTube. When we're not live streaming, we replay the last 160 articles worth of news at least. So roughly 2 weeks of news so that you can catch up. And the show notes are in each episode that might be referenced. So you'll have to go back to each subsequent day and grab the show notes. All of that links to ohmTown.com and by proxy to the various sources that we've talked about. So I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.